So did Jesse Kotton and his team cheat at the latest Team YCS in Las Vegas? No crazy intro today, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to dive on into it. Don't want to take up too much of your time. Hopefully, your boy's trying to heal up my voice before I leave for a regional this weekend. So hope y'all are having a great day. Thank y'all for all the love and support. Destroy the ever-living boo-boo stain off that like and subscribe button as we climb even higher. The 1,500 like. We're only 14 subs away from 1,600. Really appreciate all the love and support. And so, just to dive right on into it, basically what is going on, even as my phone must be thinking Jesse Kotton's a cheater. I don't know what's going on. I'm joking. First of all, for those of y'all who don't know what's going on, there was a Team YCS 3v3 in Las Vegas. Jesse Kotton and his team won the event. And I don't have anything against Jesse, right? Essentially, what happened was that his teammate showed off a combo in the video talking about where he and his team won the YCS. It's like 41 minutes long, something like that. They all go through their decks and all that stuff. But they showed off a combo that's actually illegal. He was talking about where you can summon the Surfacing Big Jaws to get to Drake Shark. After you've activated a spell card, ideally, you can summon Ice to get to X to go for Sword. You can make the Starliege Blast Dragon and then go into a Bahamut Shark. If the opponent doesn't nib you, then you can set up a Sword Rizal. But then they were saying how you could special summon Sword. You can't do that because there's not a Rizal monster in the grave at that point if that combo goes through successfully. So this has caused a lot of flack on Jesse's video. And I haven't checked his Twitter or anything, and I really don't know the guy all that well. But he's getting a lot of flack for it. At the time that I'm making this video, the video he has up has like 30,000 views and like 1,100 likes. So 50 to 60,000 views, he might have 2,000 likes. Granted, you can't see the number of dislikes anymore on YouTube, but I would guess that 1,100 to 30,000 ratio isn't the best. You probably want somewhere more along the lines of 1,500 to 2,000 likes, somewhere around that ballpark. But regardless, anytime a situation like this happens, especially when it's a quote-unquote pro player, it always ends up being toxic for the pro player because of the fact of people will be like what I've seen in his comment section where it's like, well, of course you and your teammate won the YCS because you ended up doing an illegal play all day because you can't summon the fucking Sword Rizal. And so he ended up making a comment and pinned it on the video, basically apologizing about it and explaining how he didn't realize that the play was not something that you could do. And so it's led to people still saying things like, well, of course you're a pro player because it's an illegal play. And it was funny because one person said if neither player realizes that the play is illegal, is it actually an illegal play? And it's kind of an interesting philosophical question in a regard, right? Because it's like, if I don't know it's illegal and you don't know it's illegal, is it actually an illegal play? And then, of course, there was the person commenting saying, you know, this is all the more reason why Konami needs to get better judges. And look, at the end of the day, everybody's human, right? I've made mistakes, and I've talked about them in deck profiles, not realizing it's a fucking mistake. One of them that comes to mind is when I got 10th place playing Kashtira Tenpai before anybody else was on the Kashtira cards. And I talk about how there was a play I did against a Yubel player where I went into battle phase with a Tenpai Dragon Chundra. I attacked with the Chundra. In damage step, I activated the effect to summon a monster. I chain Forbidden Droplets, sending the Chundra, negating his monster. And I proceeded to go for a Vajra, and Vajra got out Chundra, and we ended up winning the game. I didn't realize that that was an illegal play. I figured, oh, well, it's in damage step, you can activate droplets. I didn't find out until after the fact when I did the deck profile, and people commented and said, listen, you can't do that with droplets. I genuinely didn't know. There have been times in years past where I remember, it was actually, I was the first ever person to get a regional invite / top-ish with Trickstar. I think it was out of Code of the Duelist when that set first came out. I say top, but it was fucking 18th place. But I made the mistake of not realizing that Trickstar Lilybell was once per turn. So I had gone into my battle phase, attacked with Lilybell, used Lycoris to bounce at the hand, summon a Lycoris, and then use Lilybell's effect multiple times to summon it from the hand when I didn't realize that that's only once per turn. And I ended up winning the game pretty much because of that combo. I didn't find out until after the fact that people commented on my video and said, hey, you can't do that. And so I like to think if this is Jesse's first time dealing with a situation like this, like if he's had a clean record all throughout his dueling career where something like this hasn't happened before, then I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, right? The issue here that the community has with something like this is the fact that he won the event, right? Like, it wasn't like, oh, we made day 2 of the event or got top 16, whatever. No, they won the event. So if this combo that they showed is a combo that they did all day, in the one YCS that wasn't streamed, I don't know if there was any sort of written coverage, but it honestly doesn't matter because it's a fucking 3v3 YCS, and to me, 3v3 YCSs are stupid. But besides the point, if it wasn't streamed, then there's no video evidence to show, wait, they just did an illegal play. And if there weren't judges watching any of their matches until like they got to the finals and like that play didn't come up, well then yeah, the judges aren't going to see it. Or what kind of sucks is that if it did happen and the judges didn't realize it was an illegal play, then it's just a whole nother can of worms of an issue. It's also more of an issue if Jesse has had issues like this in the past and like no one has said anything. And Jesse doesn't strike me as one of those players that would try and cheat somebody. And as someone who's played this game competitively for 17 years, who can spot bullshit, even though I don't know Jesse, like I don't hate Jesse, I don't fucking know the guy. It's the internet though, so I have to say that or else I'm going to get crucified saying I'm a hater and such. But Jesse doesn't strike me as a player that's like that, right? Why would he, with all the success that he's had, intentionally cheat, and of all things, at a 3v3? You know, thank God that this, assuming that this combo happened at the 3v3 like all day, thank God it was at a 3v3 and not like YCS Orlando. Could you imagine if the person that won YCS Orlando like did an illegal combo all day and no one realized it? Like, the community would be up in arms. Like, they would instantly denounce YCS Orlando, say that it's irrelevant, say that the person that won is irrelevant. Like, I remember that happened years ago with some random YCS that happened. There was a player who, believe it or not, won with basically what was a glorified machine OTK, like Future Fusion, Chimera Tech OTK, playing Genzo monsters, the whole nine, right? And I was trying this out, and I'm like, yo, this deck's kind of cool. Come to find out, like a couple weeks after the event, people started commenting online, oh yeah, this player is a known cheater, they're a known stacker, this win is irrelevant. And it just completely nullified that entire YCS, like nothing mattered from it, right? And so it was really funny to see that whole interaction with players just completely denouncing the event. And to me, like I said, I think 3v3s are stupid because the entire pantsing factor like goes away because basically your teammates can fucking coach you, which to me is just toxic, right? Like, imagine you're playing Argus Stars and your opponent doesn't know what the cards do, but one of his teammates does. And the teammate just leans over and goes, hey, you see that trap card right there? If you ogre that, you win. And then they play the ogre and you're like, there goes my pantsing idea. Like, it's so stupid, right? And so maybe I'm totally misunderstanding the rules of that because I'll admit I've never been to a fucking 3v3. I'd rather get an endoscopy and, like, I don't know, go work, like, on the streets, like, holding up a sign, begging for food. But I'd rather do anything else than go to a 3v3. So I could just be misunderstanding the rules. But look, at the end of the day, I get why people are upset. I get why people are pissed. I think people have the right to be pissed. But I think at the same time, to play devil's advocate here, I don't think that Jesse would intentionally do this and then like have a top pin comment where he explains how the combo is correctly done and explaining the steps in it and being like, hey, listen, didn't realize this was an illegal play, didn't realize that Star Leash Photon Blast Dragon doesn't work the way that I thought, blah, 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 blah. For him to take the time to do that and his reputation precedes him, I feel like, assuming that he hasn't had any other issues like this in the past, I'm willing to give him a pass on this. I think it's something that is really not that big of a deal at the end of the day. At the same time, it happened at a 3v3 YCS. This didn't happen at like Worlds, Nationals, a normal YCS where like the results actually matter. And I say results specifically because something that a buddy of mine was telling me, which actually it makes a lot of sense. When you're in a 3v3 setting, you can kind of build your deck a bit differently than you normally would for, say, like a regional, nationals, a normal YCS, because out of 3 people, if 2 of you win the dice roll, and like let's just say, for example, you're playing a stun deck, well, you're going to win because you just won the die roll and went first, and no one's preparing for stun. So you just set up a Fossil Dynast set 4, and you watch your opponent crap their pants because they realize now they lost the match. I mean, they could scoop it up, win game 2, but then the stun player is going to go first in game 3, and then they just win because of it. Or like with a meta case, Rizal, you can get away with playing things like, say, Crossout Designator in the main, where if you go first, you know you're going to win the game because you're just going to cross out the opponent's, hand traps or going second cards, whatever the case may be, right? So deck building is much different in that compared to a 1v1 style of play, right? So it's not really something that you can take for results. Like, would I copy Jesse Kotton's Rise All Shark list and take it to a regional? Fuck no. No, absolutely not. Because he could have prepped that list specifically for the 3v3. Therefore, it's not going to, most likely, not going to be as good in a regional setting or national setting, whatever the case may be, right? So if he did have issues like this in the past, I think he doesn't get a pass. He needs to be crucified, right? But I'm willing to play devil's advocate and give him a pass if he's never had issues like this before. I think that it's an issue that's being blown out of proportion, and I think that we as a community should give it a pass. Is it wrong that that combo happened, assuming it happened? Yeah, because it does make them look really bad. But I'm willing to give him a pass. So, guys, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Sorry about the lack of content. I've been just sick, but that comes with being a cancer patient. So it is what it is. Guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.